Today we'll be discussing about principles of integrated pest management. Number one principle of integrated pest management is the prevention and suppression of pests. The prevention and suppression of harmful organisms should be achieved. For this purpose, crop rotation can be used, which includes use of adequate cultivation techniques. For example, stale seedbed technique, sowing dates and densities, undersowing, conservation tillage, pruning, and direct sowing. Use of very appropriate or resistant tolerant cultivars and standard certified seed and plant material. Use of balanced fertilization, liming and irrigation, drainage practices. The second point is preventing the spreading of harmful organisms by hygiene measures, for example, by regular cleansing of machinery and equipment, protection and enhancement of important beneficial organisms, for example, by adequate plant protection measures of the utilization of ecological infrastructures inside and outside production sites. The second principle is monitoring of harmful organisms. Pests and other harmful organisms must be monitored by adequate methods and tools where available. Such adequate tools should include observations in the field as well as scientifically sound warning, forecasting, and early diagnosis system, where feasible, as well as the use of advice from professional qualified advisors. Principle number 3 is decision making based on the results of monitoring. The professional user has to decide whether and when to apply plant protection measures, particularly pesticides. Robust and scientific sound threshold values are essential components for decision making. For example, ETL and EIL. ETL stands for economic threshold level and EIL stands for economic injury level. For harmful organisms, threshold levels defined for region, specific areas, crops, and particularly climatic conditions must be taken into account before treatments were feasible. The fourth principle is non-chemical methods. One of the basic purpose of IPM is to minimize the use of pesticides or chemical products or otherwise agrochemicals in the agro ecosystem, which ultimately lead to environmental contamination. For this purpose, non-chemical methods along with chemical methods in minimum quantity are used so that environment can be saved up to the maximum extent. So the fourth principle is non-chemical methods. Sustainable biological, physical, and other non-chemical methods must be preferred to chemical methods if they provide satisfactory pest control. Principle number 5, pesticide selection. The pesticides applied shall be as specific as possible. They must be specific for the specific target pest and shall have the least side effects on human health, non-target organisms, and the environment, which also includes air, water, and also the other vegetation that is present in the field. How we can do this? By reduced doses, reduced application frequency, or partial applications, considering that the level of risk in vegetation is acceptable and they do not increase the risks for development of resistance in population or harm non-target organisms. Seventh principle is anti-resistance strategies. Pests may develop resistance to the pesticide a long time, so anti-resistance strategies must be used so that they may not become resistant against a specific pesticide. Where the risk of resistance against a plant protection measure is known and where the level of harmful organism requires repeated application of pesticide to crops, available anti-resistance strategies should be applied to maintain the effectiveness of the products. This may include the use of multiple pesticides with different modes of action. Principle number 8 is the evaluation of our control methods based on the records and on the use of pesticide and other monitoring methods of harmful organisms. The professional user should check the success of the applied plant protection measure.